Spider-Man getting his first dad complex arc? You might pay more for the Switch 2, but you also don't own it. Luke Cage's baby mama is getting the born-again treatment? Is woke Aslan coming to save your soul? All this and more on Cutting Edge Hero Live. Welcome to Cutting Edge Hero! I am the Nerd King, Danny Stewart, your host for this and every episode of Cutting Edge Hero, joined today by my two partners in crime, my sidekicks, if you will, Jennifer Johnson and Landon Felter. How you guys doing today?
Fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I'm doing great, as always.
Fantastic. We also have the incredible Randy Tapley. I almost called you Randy Felter. Jesus Christ. We have the incredible Randy Tapley over in the technical director seat. Randy, how you doing?
Doing good. Feeling less like a Felter.
And then we should have our human relations specialist and fact checker extraordinaire, Ben Stewart, in the chat. Ben, when you get here, say hi to the folks. Guys, it has been kind of a busy, hectic week for me. But I still squeezed in some time to do nerdy shit. What is the nerdiest thing you have done this week? We could start with Landon.
Nerdiest thing I've done this week, I've gotten more into Skyrim lately. I still can't afford Oblivion right now. Still recovering from the move. But don't worry, as soon as I can afford the $50, I'm getting into Oblivion. But right now, Skyrim.
Yeah. And Jen?
Gosh, I've really been down the anime rabbit hole. So we are currently watching Hell's Paradise. So we've been really doing that a lot lately.
Yeah, I've been trying to stay away from the extremely depressing anime. So Hell's Paradise isn't one I've really gotten into. Like Your Lie in April, and what was the other one? It was super popular. It just came out. Can't remember the name of it, but I was like, I started it and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to watch this. But yeah. Hell's Paradise is kind of action, right?
Yeah, it's more action. I mean, there's definitely sad stuff that happens, but I mean, it's like Gabimaru, I guess he would be the main character. I mean, he's just unbelievably amazing. Like I love watching him fight stuff, and yeah, so I recommend it. I like it.
I may have to dive into it then. Randy, what's the nerdiest thing you've done this week?
I rewatched Across the Spider-Verse. Is that the second one?
Yes.
And the ending got me again. I got to it, and it was a cliffhanger, and it got me for a second time because I forgot about it.
Were you watching it and you were like, why does he have long hair?
Like, so people warned me, be like, oh, it ends on a cliffhanger. And in the theater, I was watching it, and I was like, wow, they're really doing a lot. And then, they start doing the music to wrap up, and I was like, oh, I forgot. And then I watched it last night, and I was like, gosh, stuff is still happening. And then I was like, oh, right, it ends like this. Damn it. You still got to wait 2 years.
Yeah. The nerdiest thing I have done. The nerdiest, Randy's still going. The nerdiest thing I have done this week is I, in an effort to catch up on all of Berserk, because I like the anime and I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I'm never going to have time to sit down and read the 340 volumes of manga currently out for Berserk. I started a 21-hour manga retrospective that breaks down the entire story and all of the arcs for Berserk. So I'm about halfway through that and plowing along, but I'm glad to finally have some of those dots connected, because the three different anime they have produced each chose similar or the same arcs and told them different ways, excluding different parts from the manga. Like one went more fantasy, one went more action and military battle, and one just cut major arcs entirely out of the story. So even if you've watched all three of the different Berserk anime, you still have no idea what the hell is going on in the manga. So this was just an easy way to finally start to kind of get caught up with that.
Awesome.
Say someone else like doing the heavy lifting of tracking everything down and then
Yes.
like bringing it to you is the best way. Like I do that with comic book. Like
that does make life
arcs.
A lot easier.
Yeah. I watched a like video on the when vampires take over the DCU.
Yeah.
And I was just like, there's no way I would have found all these comics and read them.
That's valid. That's kind of hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lord knows I've spent enough time watching multi-hour long video essays about random topics. So it's nice that you found something you're actually interested in, not just get sucked into a game you've never played or anything like that.
Nightmares and Nerdscapes is in the chat. Christopher Lovelady, glad you are here. You guys want to talk about some news?
Always.
Yes.
All right, Randy, why don't you fire those bullet points at me? Welcome to the bullet points. We are talking about some of, but not all of the nerd news going on in the world today. I will kick us off with comics. So a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about how they are reintroducing the daughter of Spider-Man and Deadpool into the Amazing Spider-Man comics. Well, with the reintroduction of Itsy Bitsy, the genetic daughter of Spider-Man and Deadpool, into Amazing Spider-Man #3, they are now going for an arc where Itsy Bitsy is in love with Peter and is interested in being with him romantically. So when we initially saw her introduced into the comics, the "Hey Daddy," we thought was in reference to her actually being his biological father, but now we're thinking it may have meant something else.
Hey Daddy. That kind.
Yeah. So in what is arguably one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever seen Marvel put into a comic book, Spider-Man's daughter is trying to bang him.
I mean, spiders do that, I guess. I don't know.
Do they? I don't know.
That's the Deadpool side in her.
Yeah.
That's
No
the
shit.
Deadpool side coming out.
Yeah. Willie McCoy Jr. in the chat. Willie, glad you're here.
Hey.
Eric Johnson, the guy I call Daddy, also in the chat. What's up, Eric? Yeah, so just weird. That is just a weird thing. That is being brought to us by writer Joe Kelly and artist Pepe Larraz. So we'll see how that goes. But man, they have just been doing Spider-Man dirty all year. Like, they are not done. Like, Mary Jane goes to an alternate reality, falls in love with some other dude, has kids with that guy, brings him back to the real world, decides to be with him instead of Peter. Like, then they make her Venom. Now she's like starting to like have some kind of relationship with Venom on top of that. Peter's got to like live through this whole world where he's still in love with Mary Jane and remembers that they were married. And now Mary Jane is like hooking up with some other guy. And now they introduce his daughter back into the comics, and now she's trying to hook up with him. Like, that poor confused gentleman. I feel really bad for Peter.
Just call him Mephisto again and be like, take it all. Take everything. I don't want it anymore.
We're used to Peter Parker suffering at this point. Maybe not this bad, but we're used to seeing him suffer at this point.
Willie McCoy said friendly Alabama Spider-Man. Turning from that to the latest in anime news, Jen, you want to walk us through what you got?
Sure. So any Apothecary Diary fans, just want you to know that they're teaming up. Oh, yes.
I love Apothecary Diaries.
You need to watch it. Well, too bad we don't live in Japan, because Universal Studios Japan is going for a interactive mystery event. So Universal Studios Japan is giving park attendees an opportunity to test their smarts in solving medical mysteries like Mao Mao. Now, starting
to eat poison like Mao? Did you get to eat poison like Mao Mao?
I hope so. I'm sure that's the grand prize.
Have you never had food at Universal Studios?
Right. So starting in July, park attendees can pick up an investigation booklet, and this is free of charge, and take on the role of a fellow pharmacist. If you succeed in finding the hidden clues and the secret messages, Your reward is seeing the scene play out between Mao Mao and Jinchi.
Is it the scene where she finds the frog in his pants?
I certainly
You haven't watched it, so that's an in joke. I apologize.
Yeah, I was like, well, I mean, frog in the pants. I mean, how can that not?
It's his dick.
Funny, so.
I was gonna say, I thought it was like he was a eunuch, and that he's not actually a eunuch.
Yeah, the whole relationship between them is that every man in the rear palace has to be a eunuch, and so she thinks he's a eunuch, and so he's like flirting with her and stuff, and she's just like, "Great, you're a eunuch. Like, I don't care." And then like in one episode, they like fall over and land on top of each other, and she's like, "What is this? A frog? Did a frog get into your?" And she's just like groping around on it, and he's getting redder and redder. It's so funny.
That's like old school Dragon Ball.
Yeah, yes, like Goku trying to figure out why Bulma doesn't have a penis in her underwear. Yeah.
Well, he thinks her balls are gone, and then she thinks it's Dragon Balls. And Frog.
Nightmares and Nerdscape said Peter Parker should change his name to Spider Cuck. Anyway, what else you got?
All right. The second thing isn't necessarily news, but I do want to kind of turn people on to watching an anime that I'm not quite caught up. There's one that just came out, so I haven't watched it yet. So there's 6 episodes in all right now. It's called To Be Hero X. This first aired April 6, 2025, is from B Dream Studios. In this particular world where faith or trust, I think they kind of use both of those interchangeably, can turn people into superheroes. I mean, how cool is that? Like,
that's pretty cool.
I believe in you, and all of a sudden you can fly. That literally is what happens in one of the episodes.
Faith can move mountains.
True. However, these heroes can lose their powers if people also stop believing them. And I believe there's like an indicator on their wrists that kind of shows like how much trust or faith that the people have in them. But this trust is also measured and collected. And this data is ultimately used to rank the heroes according to the public's faith in them.
Okay.
So not to give anything else away. Like I said, watched 5 of the 6 that are out right now. And I recommend it. I think it's a cool watch.
So this has been on my radar for a minute. I've heard really good things about To Be Hero X. I am waiting till there's a few more episodes out for it to be like binge worthy, but I think 6 is a good number to binge into a series.
I've heard it's like arcs where it's like 3 episode chunks. So like you could watch like the first 3 episodes follow a person, and then the next 3, or maybe it's more than 3, but follow another person. I've heard it's good, but I call it To Be Hero Twitter still. So
Randy got jokes.
Yeah. I thought about that like 10 minutes
Landon,
ago.
is that on your radar at all?
Well, I never even heard of it till now, so can't say it was.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out probably sooner rather than later. By next week, I should have dove into that world.
It kind of reminds me of the like Nosedive episode of Black Mirror, where it's like your social status, like you like rate interactions with people like 5 stars, and you get like better things. That's what it like. Just the premise kind of reminds me of, because you can like lose your powers by not being a good person.
Yeah.
But they talked about this on Eat the Cake anime last week. So
yes, got to check out Eat the Cake anime. Please give all of our DFPN family all the love and tune in, because we produce great content on this network. Dare I say, best network ever. Moving along to television news, in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, Marvel Television head Brad Winderbaum has confirmed that Kristen Ritter will be joining the cast of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. So we are going to see Jessica Jones in the series. No idea how many episodes currently she's going to show up for, but she will be reappearing as Jessica Jones in this series.
That's so exciting. The only thing that could be more exciting with Kristen Ritter is if it was Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23 getting brought back, because that show's awesome.
I wonder if they're gonna like add her like they did the Punisher for like a couple episodes, or if she's gonna be,
I imagine it'll be akin to that. Like she'll pop up, maybe Matt will decide he needs her help, or she'll show up and they're like tracking the same lead or something. I know that next season, very much Matt is on the lam. Like he's hiding. He's trying to like cover that he's still alive post saving Kingpin from being shot. We have seen images of the black the black Daredevil costume is actually his red costume, painted over with the DD on the chest being unpainted, because there are set photos where the black is starting to wear off and it's just his red costume underneath. So apparently he's going to spray paint his costume or something to put the DD logo on it. But we already know that there have been set photos from season 2 where we are seeing that what's her name?
Kristen Ritter?
No.
Ann Wall or Deborah Ann Wall?
Deborah Ann Wall is also appearing in season 2. So it'll be interesting when exactly we're going to get Kristen Ritter popping up. Hopefully it's better than the second season of Jessica Jones and all of the Defender series. But as we all know, I was very underwhelmed with Daredevil Born Again season 1, so I will wait and see what they actually do with it this time. William McCoy said, more importantly, are the jeans and leather jacket coming back with her? I do believe, yes, we will probably see her in the identical Jessica Jones style that we got her in the Netflix series, because apparently that's Kristen Ritter's actual way she dresses in real life. And she showed up to set as that, and they're like, yeah, perfect. And now she can't dress the way she likes to dress because everybody thinks she's cosplaying as her own character.
How can you really call just jeans and a jacket cosplay?
Maybe I would say yes, if it's specifically an outfit that she wore. I've seen Jessica Jones cosplayers wearing the jean giant scarf rock band t-shirt ensemble that just Kristen Ritter wore in the show. So yeah, Landon, despite all of your gatekeeping about the cosplay community, yeah, I think it totally counts as a cosplay.
It's not gatekeeping of the cosplay community. It is trying to help somebody be able to be themselves, Danny. I'm so sorry you don't like people being themselves without being harassed, Danny. Gosh.
I love that. So like Landon is our most like inclusive member of the team. Like he's very aware of social issues, and every time I accuse him of gatekeeping just random shit for funsies, I get the best response. Yeah, no, Landon, I know you only mean the best for people. Speaking of only meaning the best for people, Landon, why don't you take us through what you got for video gaming?
Oh shit, all right. All right, 2 big stories so far. First and foremost, Disney, what the fuck am I saying? Nintendo claims that they reserve the right to brick your Switch console if they find that you have suspicious behavior on it. They claim that they will be able to look through past videos and chats on your Switch 2. With your consent, for now, to be able to tell if you have been participating in any behaviors that they deem is worthy of bricking your Switch or preventing you from accessing certain programs or whatever. They claim this is a moderation tool mostly, if you are cheating online or if you are doing bad behaviors online, they will prevent you from accessing the programs instead of just like a ban system. But they also claim the right to completely brick your console. We all know what this really is going to lead to. It's them going to try to prevent people from modifying something they own. So,
yeah, well, I have to assume it's in an effort to prevent piracy entirely as well. As far as like, they make a lot of they make a lot of money off of something we were recently talking about last week, the virtual consoles that they sell, which is, giving you an emulator for previous Nintendo consoles to use on your Switch. And this functionally allows them to not mod your Switch to use virtual consoles that you're not paying them for on. I think it's emblematic of the problems that we're dealing with game producers right now. The idea that they've transitioned from selling us games and consoles to just selling us the rights to use their shit. It's like you're leasing your Switch, but are they going to give you a new Switch every year for, you not owning your Switch? Are they valuing these in some way beyond your purchase so that it makes sense that they get to keep this control on it? No, they're trying to have the best of both worlds. And me personally, I think it's really shitty.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. Like, it's something you are supposed to own. You paid a one-time price right up front. You should own the thing. You should be able to do what you want with the thing. I mean, we all know that this is going to take a total of this is going to delay pirating on the Switch by an extra month. We all know that.
If anything, this moves like this, these terrified, ooh, we can't let you do what you want to do with your thing moves push me more towards the idea of investing in a Steam Deck and a gaming PC and moving away from consoles, because on those systems, I can download the things I want. I can make the changes I want. I do own the games I'm playing. They're removing our power as consumers to the point where I would rather invest in a gaming tower. And I would have never said that before. I've always been pro console. I think PC gamers are kind of this elitist group that thinks they're better than everybody else because they do things just slightly different. Like your PC's not that much better than my console, and I don't have to worry about dumping a bunch of fucking money into it just to keep it relevant. But if it's going to save me from shit like this, it seems worthwhile.
Once again, us PC gamers, me right here next to my tower, I paid over $1,000 for 5 years ago and is worth jack shit now. Truly, we are superior. Once again. In fact, my next story even proves that, with Oblivion remakes on consoles slowly getting worse as you play. So first and foremost, with Oblivion remakes on consoles, the camera angles start to get messed up after a while. For example, if you get on a horseback riding after you're playing a save game for 100 hours or so, the angle is fucked up, so it doesn't work quite right. That's something that could be fixed by restarting the console, which isn't too bad of an issue. Be nice if it worked the first time, but as your save game gets longer and longer in playtime, the game will actually start crashing when it tries to load save games. It's an issue that's slowly popping up, and people are being like, hey, this needs to get patched. CJ. Elder Scrolls, I personally love the Elder Scrolls games, but they've never been that great on console. Both Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Skyrim all had the issue where the longer you played on the PlayStation 3, the more it gets fucked up. It just glitches out more and more and more and slows down more and more and more. And it seems like that old problem's rearing its head again on a completely different engine.
It's a staple of the franchise at this point.
Yeah, you got to have them. It's just part of the relationship with it, It's not nearly as bad as Cyberpunk 2077 when it's 2077, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
When it dropped and it was so bugged out you could barely play the game.
Yeah. I mean, I loved it from the start, but that's just me.
It's still one I haven't ever touched.
Oh, I love it. If Billy were here, he'd be singing its praises too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He absolutely would. Okay, and then moving along, our final story is in movies, and this is something Jen brought to me. So Greta Gerwig is set to helm a Chronicles of Narnia remake for Netflix. The first film, which is set to be The Magician's The Magician's Nephew, the first chronological book in the Chronicles of Narnia series, but not the first book released, which is obviously Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. is going to be released on IMAX Thanksgiving Day 2026, with a release on Netflix following on Christmas Day. Currently, Meryl Streep is rumored to be voicing Aslan. Daniel Craig may be playing Uncle Andrew, and Emma Mackey has been confirmed to be playing the White Witch. Guys, what are your thoughts on this?
I really want Daniel Craig to do his LeBlanc voice as the uncle.
Yeah, a nice Louisiana accent.
As the Foghorn Leghorn, the British uncle of the most British series. Other than that, I don't care what happens.
Yeah. Did you guys ever read Chronicles of Narnia? Have you delved into the books beyond the movies?
Nope.
I didn't.
Okay.
I've tried. I have like the whole collection in like a single big book, and I made it to where the giant lady I have met from The Magician's Nephew, steals a lamppost or grabs a lamppost in the real world, and then goes back to like pre-Narnia Void, and that's like where the lamppost comes from. So I know the origin of the lamppost, and that's as far as I've gotten into the whole series.
So, so Chronicles of Narnia. Obviously, there's Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. What's the following one after that? Prince Caspian, A Boy and His Horse. I think it's Boy and His Horse, then Prince Caspian, because Prince Caspian is the boy with his horse.
Voyage of the
Dawn Treader. But the Magician's Nephew is a prequel that came much later in the series. I believe it's the second to last book that was written, and it's just the story of how the wardrobe became the wardrobe. And where the White Witch comes from. And so for them to be leading off with that is, I think that's a poor choice. But I can understand them wanting to not tread familiar ground, kicking off a new series and maybe starting chronologically as opposed to release order. I don't know. I'll reserve judgment. I think that the original Chronicles of Narnia movies, they were trying to compete with Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, and they just didn't do well in that capacity. So we'll see what they can do this time around with it. Maybe a little bit more faithful adaptation, as opposed to what they did the first ones.
I feel like the way to do, because like the Magician's Nephew is like like you said, the prequel, and it's like kind of boring.
Yes,
for like the general consensus compared to the others.
Yes,
like there's no big war. It's just, this is how Narnia happened, and how the wardrobe, the most exciting piece of furniture in the series, came to be. Just have it be like, just do the main kids, or because they all come back, right? It's
so the kids, the children, I'm drawing a blank on their name right this second, but the 4 children from Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe aren't in this. So their uncle that they come to live with is a little boy whenever this adventure happens.
Like, if they're going through the whole book series, though, they should just like have the Magician's Nephew be like told in flashbacks.
Right.
They're like the more interesting story. Like, don't tell me about the Magician's Nephew whenever we have a voyage on a Dawn Treader with like dragons or something.
It's questionable. I know that they're releasing the film. Again, getting an IMAX release first. Not the most exciting Chronicles of Narnia book, so we'll see what they can do with it. But Greta Gerwig made Barbie interesting too. So, I think that there's a world here where it could still be very good, just based on her ability to turn kind of not classically interesting narratives into something that is actually fun and engaging.
The mundane into something.
Mundane is the word I was looking for, Randy. Thank you. But anyway, that does it for news this week. I hope this news didn't just graze you. This has been the Bullet Points. Guys, welcome back to the show. We got 2 big trailers dropped this week. We got the trailer for the Ironheart series coming to us from Disney Plus and Marvel Studios. And then we also got the first full trailer for the Superman film. I want to dive into both of them a little bit. Have you guys seen the trailers yet?
Mm-mm.
No, I meant to, but time got away from me.
No, I should have. You brought them up before we started, and I was like, I need to watch those, and then I didn't.
So, do we all have headphones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and watch them and live react as you watch them, and then we'll talk about them. How's that sound?
Okay.
Which one are we doing first?
Let's start with Ironheart because that's the first one I want to talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
We can sync it up on a 1, 2, 3 count, or do it as a round, and we can all start 10 seconds behind the other.
What's going to be funny is that Randy's music on his end is going to come through our headphones.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, through our headphones. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see the executive producer. Tell him when to start.
Okay. I'm ready when y'all are. Ooh. And then the Superman one's the recommended.
All right. Ready?
For me.
3,
Mm-hmm.
2, 1, go.
Okay. Place is closed. From the director of Wakanda Forever. That's actually pretty sick. That's a bad elevator. I could have
I
told
actually
you that.
don't know if we're hearing this on the live stream.
I could have told you that. Oh, do I need to mute it?
Yeah.
Oh. Is that a bomb? Oh, no, just a not breathable? Is this a test? I don't know Ironheart villains. Are they... Because in the comics, she's like doesn't Tony Stark approach her for being like #1 at MIT?
Yeah, she gets the Ironheart, she gets like Tony Stark's, she gets Tony Stark's AI because Tony was dead at the time.
Oh yeah, I think Ryan Coogler talked about doing this before. He wanted to do Sinners before this. For sure. Because Sinners was supposed to be like his like I think it was homage to like his I think it was his uncle.
I have so many podcasts that want to talk about Sinners, and I haven't watched it yet. So I'm behind on all like the podcast shows, but I've heard nothing but like wonderful things.
Oh, it was an amazing movie. Like I love.
Okay, we weren't getting that audio on the live stream, so you can listen to it if you want.
Yeah, what you doing?
I'm sure this is very engaging television.
Yeah,
while we're sitting here, but
it's a very like Kat Dennings-esque friend that I just saw.
Yeah,
which I'm here for because I love Kat Dennings.
So she actually died in the comics and then got converted to an AI called Natalie that Riri put in the suit, and the theory is that that's going to be the case.
Oh wow, that's like really sad.
But yeah, she's not going to make it.
So did I miss like who's
that theory is that he's Obadiah Stane's son.
Ooh.
Zeke.
Oh.
So Riri, because she after Wakanda Forever, the Wakandans take the Ironheart armor back from her, the vibranium Ironheart armor. She's not allowed to keep it, and so she goes back to Chicago and then goes to MIT as a student. And as in her time at MIT, she builds a new suit of armor, which is the white suit that we get in there. But then also outside of her MIT armor, she is also building another suit at home, which is the one that's kind of more junked together with the like red scratched up red chest piece. So we will probably see all three of these armor at some point in the show. Ideally, that third one that she's working on at home is going to be the true Ironheart armor. I imagine something is going to happen to the MIT suit. She's not getting to keep the Wakandan suit, and then that final one will be her real suit. Somewhere along the line, we're going to get the Natalie AI put into the suit. In the comics, she got a Tony Stark AI that was leading her along her path and mentoring her. So I don't know if we're going to see Robert Downey Jr. appearing as an AI version of Tony Stark or not. He's obviously back in the wheelhouse of Marvel characters with the introduction in Doomsday. So whether we're going to see that or not. We've also gotten Anthony Ramos's Hood, which is a character that stole a hood off of a demon. And then that imbued him with magical abilities, which he used to become a crime lord. And he is funding Riri's research. So she's going to be in league with him. And then there are some rumors that we may finally see the Sacha Baron Cohen Mephisto. I know we've all been screaming Mephisto for like 5 years now. The Sacha Baron Cohen Mephisto, he has an uncredited role in this series, finally appearing on screen. So weirdly, this may be our first introduction to Mephisto.
That's a crazy
on screen
introduction for like this series, which like I guess it probably needs that because like it's coming out so soon, and I haven't heard. This is the first thing I've like heard about it.
We are a little over 40 days out from release on this. This is the closest window that Marvel has ever done promoting a series.
I don't know. I don't think that's a good sign.
Well, I also think it's like just trying to avoid hate because it's just one of the Marvel TV shows that they're going to hate on.
It could be that, but I do also agree with Lane, and I think that is not a good sign for the quality of this series. That being said, it is being executive produced by Ryan Coogler. He did have a lot of say into what does and doesn't go into the series, and everything he's done for Marvel so far has been really good.
Yeah.
Was this supposed to be part of the Marvel Spotlight, or you know how they just do like a one season kind of like they did with like Echo and stuff?
There's no word as to whether this is getting more than one season. It definitely has the potential to do so. But I think, currently right now, they're just planning to do the one season with this and just see how it does.
Okay.
We know that Riri is going to feature in Doomsday, so she's not one and done here. But what they're going to be doing with the character following this is kind of up in the air. And also based on the very short window for advertising for this, it doesn't seem like they're putting a lot of effort into making this series popular. They don't seem overly concerned with it. I would say that this is something that they had kind of thought about, promised, and then really did not deliver on, and that it's probably going to be kind of not great.
I mean, they're missing a really big opportunity because, I mean, one, like female superheroes really need to be promoted way more than what they are. Two, if you're a huge fan of Iron Man, those like kind of goes together. You'll have like almost like a female version of Iron Man. And, you know, the intellect that she has that mirrors what, you know, Tony Stark has.
Right.
But I mean, that's dumb of them, is my point.
And Ken Pachi in the chat says they were avoiding releasing it too close to Thunderbolts. That may be the case, but they certainly have concurrently advertised a series and a movie at the same time to good effect. And I just feel like that's not a good excuse for why they have really just left Ironheart to kind of fend for itself and then start releasing teasers and stuff this close to the full release. I mean, we're not even 2 months out.
I think word of mouth will get, like, if Mephisto is in it, I think that will definitely elevate this to be like, because like you said, every show where there's magic, it's like Mephisto.
Yes.
Well, probably word of mouth will probably spread too if they say anything about it tying into Doomsday too, because you know how they have snippets and stuff in there.
We were expecting it with Multiverse of Madness, or no, we were expecting it with Multiverse of Madness. What was the one before that where we were expecting Mephisto to show up?
WandaVision.
WandaVision. Yeah. it's just been She-Hulk. We kind of thought it was going to happen. So it's like, when is it actually? When are we going to get that Mephisto drop?
You gotta get in there before Deadpool does something.
I'm just concerned that this is going to fly way under the radar, and we're going to get it. And we have waited all this time, and we finally get the Mephisto reveal, and everybody's just kind of like, okay. I mean, he's here now, I guess.
Well, I was gonna say, if it's uncredited, it could also just be like a voice whispering from the hood, like, you know, I don't know, you know, if it's
from the hood,
like if it's because like if he's wearing, because that, I'm assuming it was the person with the red cloak. That's the hood character.
Yes.
Okay. So like it could just be like a demonic growl.
The voice that speaks through the hood is just Sacha Baron Cohen doing all of his different character works.
We can only hope.
It's Ali G.
Borat telling me to commit crimes against humanity.
Kenpachi says, I think it will play well following the success of Sinners and both being directed by Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler actually wasn't the main director for this series. He was just executive producing it. So I forget the director's name, but it was a different director, a nice lady. She directed most of the episodes.
And we were talking about Sinners a minute ago, and CJ Lovelady said, I know someone who has a spoiler-free review of Sinners.
Yeah.
Who could that be? Could it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, go check that out on their YouTube page or on any of the DFPN social media. It was him and Kelvin, right?
Yeah.
The review?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's my loose review of what we're getting with the, I guess, breakdown of what we're getting with the, I almost said Sinners trailer, but with the Ironheart trailer. And then let's move along to the Superman trailer. If you guys want to check that out real quick, it is kind of long, so I will have to vamp while you do so.
Fantastic. We're reaction YouTubers now.
Yeah.
So, okay, DC Studios, is that a new?
So that's what they changed to after the DCEU,
okay,
DC Extended Universe.
Because was that what Monster? What is that show called on HBO Max? Creature Commandos.
Creature Commandos.
Was that a DC Studios?
It's called Guardians of the Galaxy, the 6th iteration.
Yeah.
Yep. Just tell them when to start.
I started. I'm sorry.
Oh, you fuckers. DC Studios. Okay, let's go.
So I will say, starting off just off the bat here, this interview between Lois Lane and Superman puts me in mind of one of the best Superman stories that I have seen in recent days. And to no surprise to anyone, I'm talking about Invincible. This is very much Invincible, but using Superman as the character for the vehicle. His outrage, the way he's like yelling at Lois, like I had to save people's lives. Like it just feels so much more Invincible than Superman to me, and that's not a criticism. I think that is the best direction to go. I've said multiple times that I think Invincible is what Ultimate Superman could be. Like if it got the ultimate treatment from Marvel, which obviously that's what Absolute is now. But it's a story about what it's like to have that kind of power and ability in a world where normal people exist and then super people also exist. And so I think leaning into that for the Superman movie is a great idea. And I do believe that's what they've done.
All right, they better not hurt this dog. I'm just saying.
Crypto looks great. I'm excited about Crypto. He's usually drawn more as like a white lab.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They styled this dog after the rescue that James Gunn actually rescued and has at home. So it's a more curly mutt style dog than any particular breed.
So who is this lady with like the saws? Is she like a known?
That is the engineer. She is from a comic series called The Authority. That was Wildstorm prior to Wildstorm being bought out by DC and then them introducing those characters into the DC universe. So she's actually part of a whole different superhero team that was an analog for the Justice League from Wildstorm, which is also where the Midnighter and Apollo come from, who were the Wildstorm universe's Superman and Batman that were in love and married.
But I swear to God, if they do anything to this dog, if they make me go see this movie. But no, I remember
CGI dog.
the teaser trailer. Like, I'm easy to make cry. But like when he they have it in this too, where he like jumps in front of like the girl and like stops the debris from like hitting her. I was like, oh my gosh, like that. I don't know why that one got me, but I was like, I love seeing superheroes save people, and they just haven't been doing that very much. And like this movie, I hope it has
especially
a lot of
not in the Snyderverse. They were just killing people left and right.
But like it's just and then like of course Invincible, it's just being like mean about it because like there's multiple people who just send him through a crowd of people, and you know
his dad
like
he
tries to save people.
Conquest is straight up murdering people with Invincible's face. Yeah,
like I think what's the lady Viltrumite?
I forget her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Vanessa, yeah.
Or Anissa, right?
Yeah. She's even worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
Out of the three, she's the worst.
Yeah, she's definitely the worst. But I think she doesn't do it, right? Or does she?
What?
Like grab him and like shove him through a crowd of people?
No.
She's actually like helpful, sort of.
It was Nolan and Conquest that both did that to him. Nolan put him through a subway train full of people, and he was like killing people with his face.
There's a show that I watched where they were talking about it, and it's just like the problem is he like flails, and he just like they were like he needs to just ball up, be as small as possible because he's like freaking out and putting his hands in front of him, which like fair enough, you're still gonna hit people.
Yeah, easy to criticize when you've never been in that situation.
Be smaller because especially the second time, he's like you've been through this before. Get small.
Oh yeah, 2 times is enough to know what to do the second time. It's like this happened once before. I know exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ball up and make myself a more dense object for things to bounce off of.
Yeah.
No, there's freak out.
Yeah, there's no good answer there.
But so I saw a little bit of Green Lantern again.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner. It's synonymous with being a jerk superhero.
Okay, I was gonna say, is he a dick? Because both times I've seen him, I'm like, he just seems like a dick, and this one, like, he just makes like a hand and like flicks something. Like
Guy Gardner, in his tenure as a superhero, is mostly known for just being a punk ass bitch. That's like the main thing.
Is he the one that his girlfriend got fridged, or is that a different Green Lantern?
A different one.
Okay,
that's not even Green Lantern.
Isn't it?
Which Robin was that?
A Robin whose girlfriend got fridged?
Yeah, she's the origin of the phrase "getting fridged" because she actually got fridged.
Oh, okay. I thought it was I thought it was a Green Lantern.
No, I think it was
Wait a minute, was it Jason?
It wasn't.
It wasn't
Jason Todd. It was
Well, you got Jason, Tim. You got Tim Drake.
Tim Drake. I'm pretty sure it was.
Was it Tim Drake?
I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% on that.
Okay. Neither here nor there.
Tim Drake.
Chris says Tim Drake. Yeah.
So I will say, we've really gone off the rails here. So we are getting a merging of multiple different Superman storylines kind of coalescing into one story here, because we've got Ultraman, which is the crime syndicate alternate reality version of Superman that is apparently showing up as a clone of Superman in some way. Now we know the clone storyline. We get Superman or Superboy out of it, Con-El. Is that who's in the black costume? I don't know. Or is it actually going to be Superman from an alternate reality? Or is it going to turn out to be Bizarro? Or are they going to go an entirely different route and turn they're going to turn this Ultraman version of Bizarro or Connor Kent into Doomsday? Because he very much looks like Doomsday. Prior to Doomsday breaking out of his containment suit, the Ultraman costume that they have him in very much looks like the green suit that Doomsday first appeared in with the tiny little goggles. More than anything, it looks like Black Noir from The Boys. But you know, he has the classic U symbol on his chest from Ultraman. So I think they've merged a lot of storylines here. Then we're also getting the story where Superman meets the Authority, and he has to like fight them, and they're willing to go dirty, and he isn't. You know, we're getting characters from the Wildstorm universe and this new DC universe, which is great because Wildstorm introduced a lot of really cool things into DC. Nightmares and Nerdscape said they'll kill him, and we'll see the introduction of Superboy and Son of Krypton. We could get a Death and Return storyline. I'd say they're probably going to avoid that on this first one because they just did that with Justice League. But who knows? They might decide to try that.
You gotta give us time with like a new Superman or a new anything.
I do think we need like a couple of good Superman movies before we do the Death and Return. And they need to do it right. They need to do a full Death movie with Doomsday being introduced and Superman sacrificing himself to save everyone, and then they need to do an entire movie with the 4 subsequent other Supermen showing up. And in order for that to work, honestly, in order for that to work and for it to hit all of the tones that you need it to hit, you need to introduce the Eradicator from as a villain previously, and then have him show up as Superman. You need to introduce the Cyborg character who then becomes a cyborg Superman, and everybody thinks he's the real Superman. You need to introduce John Henry Irons before you make him feel like that. All needs to happen prior to the Return movie, and you can't lump it into one story. There's too much there. So I'm concerned.
It was a whole chronicle.
Yes,
we need to have a Superman movie like this one. We need to have another one, and then a third one where he dies. And then an in between one where it's all from the point of view of Krypto, and he immediately like you can do the like alternate Superman, cyborg Superman, and everything, but Krypto is not having it, and then you bring him back.
So the other thing is with Krypto, what the basic story is that Krypto is actually Kara's dog. So he's Supergirl's dog, and she's off planet for a little bit, and she's asked Cal to take care of him, which is why Krypto is not great for Cal because he's not actually Cal's dog.
So you're saying that's what this is going to be? Or
that's what this is supposed to be. Okay. Which is why Krypto doesn't necessarily listen to Cal because he's not Cal's dog.
I like that.
He's Supergirl's dog.
I like that. I don't care about Superman. I just want to hang out with the dog for 2.5 hours.
So talking about all those disparate storylines that are all coming together, I'm hoping for one more extra storyline to be slipped in here. Seeing all that negative attention towards Superman and what he has apparently done with his powers. How familiar are you with the storyline of Superman versus the Elite?
Yes, I'm familiar with it.
I'm hoping that
or the animated movie.
Yes. I'm hoping that they slip in a few of those elements towards in this movie where everybody is kind of like against Superman because of like what he does, but they're against Superman for what he does, and Lex Luthor takes advantage of this to try to smear Superman's name, and then Superman decides to go all out but pull back just to show, hey, this is what I am about. This is what I am. I am the Boy Scout. I am the ultimate good. I am the person with all the power in the world, and I choose to do good with it. Especially following the tale of the Snyderverse, I think we really do need a story of just like Superman's goodness and just wholesomeness to follow up all that.
Because there are so many stories. I mean, like Invincible is one as well, where it's like, I don't kill, and then I do kill. Maybe killing is the way you have to do it. It's like, just have him be like the Boy Scout, like, you know, because superhero movies have always been like, or most of the like modern day ones are just like, oh yeah, we'll kill him. Like, no problem, we do that. Like, oh, but we don't kill him, but you ran him over with a car, you probably killed him.
A man flies through the sky and has super strength, heat vision, everything else. And the problem you have that you find the most unrealistic is that he is totally good.
Yes.
No.
So yeah, no, I think that those, I completely agree. I think the elements of that need to be involved in there. I don't remember 100%, but I do think that in the comic storyline, it was Superman versus the Authority. And then they couldn't use those characters in their animation yet, and so they made it the Elite, and they came up with a totally different team that's basically similar to the Authority characters from Wildstorm. I could be wrong on that though. They might have done that prior to getting Wildstorm, but they're basically an analog for the Authority in either world.
And I thought they were the Elite in the comic as well, so
they might be. But the intent is very much that when at the time when Wildstorm was releasing these darker Justice League stories through the Authority, it was the idea that what would Superman do if he came up against a group that was a little morally gray as opposed to his morally white character. But yes, I think that needs to happen. I think that's got to be part of this storyline. I think the idea of Superman finally cutting loose and how terrifying that is for people. I love that. I loved that in the movie of the Elite. So yeah, I think that would be great. So yeah, I'm still holding judgment for this. I want to see it first. I'm not confident that James Gunn can give us the Superman story that we want or that we necessarily need in this time. But I think that this trailer did nothing but secure for me the idea that it is possible he could be making a good Superman film and give us something more akin to the joy that we got from the Christopher Reeve Superman, as opposed to the divisiveness of the Zack Snyder era. And certainly a little more, a little less underwhelming than the Superman Returns movie was, where they tried to just pick up the torch and continue on as though the Christopher Reeve Superman never left.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think my favorite Superman lately has been the My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah.
I love that one so much, but
I love My Adventures with Superman.
Yes. I was just looking up if there's a season 3 and it says there's supposed to be one this year, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, they've announced season 3. We've even gotten a few spoilery looks at what might be occurring in season 3 because they showed it off at San Diego Comic-Con, I want to say.
Oh, okay. I'm just out of the loop then, because I binge watched the first 2 seasons like 6 months ago.
I think it's good. I think My Adventures with Superman does something that they did in the 90s and early 2000s a little bit, where they started to play around with Superman's various powers and how his abilities work. That, whenever we got like Superman Red and Blue, where they were electric based abilities and he split into 2 different personalities and things of that nature, where they started to play with like his power actually is and where it comes from. And I think they do that in a very good way, in a fun way and an engaging way in My Adventures with Superman. So I did enjoy the series. I think Jack Quaid does a good job as his version of Superman. And I am looking forward to more of that as well.
I just like the personality and character designs.
Yeah.
Lois Lane just being loose from Owl House is also I love Owl House. So
yeah. Well, speaking of personality and character designs, this week on the hit list, we're talking about our 5 favorite fantasy classes. Welcome to the hit list. This week we are talking about our 5 favorite character classes. This can be from any form of fantasy media that you draw from, not necessarily just D&D. Landon, would you be so kind as to kick us off with your number 5?
All right, my number 5. It is the Cleric in Dungeons and Dragons, but also other media as well. I myself am not somebody who is good at games or video games. I love games and video games, but I won't look you in the eye and tell you I'm good at it. I'm not. So in games in which you're working as part of a team, I typically play healer, because even a bad healer will give you heals sometime or another. And the Cleric for Dungeons and Dragons is that. But also, I can pick a whole bunch of other utility spells and other attributes that help me make a well-rounded support character for whatever needs to get done. And that's why I like the Cleric from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Cleric is a good class. I personally probably would not play one. That's too much support for me. I'm all about cleaving heads. So, but I do appreciate a good Cleric in my team for sure.
I am a sucker for a multi-class, and cleric is a very fun multi-class to do. Just adds a little, like, I think you get martial weapons and armor, and it's just, it's a fun one to sprinkle in there.
All right, Jen, what did you have for number 5?
My number 5 is a Dragon Knight. So a lot of the things like I'm talking about was more like a homebrew game that I played with my husband and our besties. The particular Dragon Knight that I played, you actually kind of get to the point. My character wasn't quite there yet, but more Elder Dragon Knights because actually wear their dragons as armor, but then you can also summon them, to ride them and use them. But you can use some of their abilities. But yeah, Dragon Knight. Those are super fun because you can actually, like, your skin will actually eventually start to change and look like dragon scales. So
yeah,
it was fun.
So your description, it kind of sounds like a druid specifying in dragons that also has the armor and capabilities of a knight.
Well, like this particular Dragon Knight that I played, she was more of a warrior, but yeah, I mean, they had like a whole race where they could be different things, but still be associated with dragons. But yeah, when I played was a warrior.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it reminded me of the I forget her name, but the main character from like the Iron Flame book series.
Oh, Violet.
Yeah, Violet. That looked like Violent Sorrengail to me.
Actually, I think that was like fan art for her. I was like, perfect, yeah. Violet. That's a great example.
Perfect. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, I love her.
No complaints here. Randy, what'd you have for number 5?
So I went like a little more general with it. Pokemon classes.
Oh my god.
Some people call them types, but I went with Pokemon classes. I used to have like when I played the Pokemon game, I had the guidebook, which just like showed you like what level they evolve and what level they learn stuff. I studied this chart. I don't have it in my brain anymore, but the like what it doesn't do damage against, what it gives half damage against, what it does double damage against. And I just Googled it, and apparently AI says Steel Fairy is the best type combination. With the best, we can review the chart and see if that's true. But yeah, just Pokemon types. I think my favorite type, like when I was playing, was probably like Dragon, because I was a child. Dragon, and Poison. So I like
nothing pisses me off more about Pokemon than all the clearly dragon Pokemon characters that are not dragon types.
Yeah, one of my favorite comics.
Danny, please. List them all off.
I can't. I have had sex. Go ahead, Landon.
Okay, I'm going to list your entire list. I know exactly all the Pokemon you're thinking of. You ready? Charizard?
Nuh-uh, the Dragonite. Dragonite's not a dragon either.
Dragonite got the dragon type.
Gyarados isn't.
Gyarados isn't a dragon type? What's the one that like literally looks like a dragon from hold on.
Or, I think Dragonite is it, right?
Dragonite got the dragon typing.
Okay.
Hold on. Well, let me just look this up, Landon.
Getting roasted because I said dragon type is my favorite type.
You didn't say dragon. You said dragon.
Dragon. No, just because Imagine Dragons. I didn't even think about that. I have a type,
but apparently. Yeah, Landon, the literal fucking fire-breathing dragon Pokemon that isn't a dragon type. Yeah, that's one. That's definitely one. And the one that looks like a fucking palm tree that is a dragon type, which I don't fucking get.
One of my favorite jokes is like comics that I've seen is the Alolan Executor is part dragon. And he's like, like 11 feet tall, and he leans over to a Gyarados with just the most like pissed off like Squidward face, and he goes, "Guess who's a dragon?"
So yeah, Charizard, Gyarados, Aerodactyl, Tyranitar.
Aerodactyl's a pterodactyl. What do you mean that should be a dragon?
Very much looks like a wyvern. That is a wyvern style.
They have been fixing some of this with mega evolutions, because I think is Sceptile a dragon when he evolved?
Sceptile's a dragon when he mega evolves.
Well, he isn't before that.
They're trying.
Milotic. I don't know how to say that one. Thunderous. Scovillian.
Apparently, my favorite class in Pokemon is dragons that aren't dragons, because I love all of those Pokemon you said
Yeah,
so far.
Landon, there's at least 8 of them that look like dragons that aren't dragon type.
But there's a ghost dragon.
Oh yeah, and how many did you know off the top? How many of you know?
My favorite
you knew
Pokemon.
One. You knew one.
There you go, gatekeeping again. What? I can't be a Pokemon fan now?
No.
Milotic.
Milotic, Ben says. Where were we at?
Your pronunciation is giving me the ick.
Randy, what do we have in chat?
In chat, we have a lot of people talking about Imagine Dragons and pronunciations of various words. Nightmare Nerdskate says EverQuest Shadow Knight.
Oh yeah, dude, EverQuest was such a fun game.
I never played EverQuest.
Yeah, it was.
Have a computer strong enough.
Forgotten Realms, right? EverQuest was Forgotten Realms MMORPG. Anyway, my number 5 is Barbarian. Specifically, this guy from the Hero Quest tabletop board game, which was my first introduction to a barbarian. Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
I'm sorry, I didn't label them.
But yeah, there's just something about a character that like is so fucking powerful that in a world where people are like casting magic and they're fighting like fucking giant trolls and stuff, and clerics and paladins exist, there's a guy that's just like, I'm strong, I carry a big weapon, I throw this thing at you. Barbarians are one of my favorite classes to play as, just because they fuck shit up. Personally, I'm a big fan. Obviously, the D&D barbarian is born of Conan the Barbarian, the original character. But just even in my like Baldur's Gate 3, my first playthrough, I did a barbarian playthrough, and like the fact that you can just like launch people off the fucking edge of the map as a way to like trim down the number of people in a fight was just an incredible mechanic they added to that game. But yeah, barbarians are a blast to play. I saw we had some more number 5 dropping in chat.
Oh, there we go.
I feel like Landon wants to talk some shit about my barbarian choice.
I got nothing to say. I was just gonna say I like classes that also hit very hard in a series of fucking powers and shit. One of my favorite types in Pokemon is the fighting type.
Yeah. Well, list all your favorite fighting type Pokemon, Landon, right now.
Lucario.
I'm just kidding. Ben said Ben's number 5 is the Parshendi. That is a group from the Stormlight Archive. They are the natives of the world Roshar. They have external armor, carapace on their bodies, like an ant or other insects, and then they are very much human shaped. And they're incredible.
You're saying all these words, and earlier you said you've had sex before, though.
Yeah, just the 5 times. And Eric Johnson's number 5 is the Ranger. We will talk about Ranger in a little bit. He's further down on somebody else's list, but that's a great choice, Eric. Jen, what did you have for your number 4?
My 4 is it's more like a paladin, really. It's the warrior. I swear I play more than warriors, but there's another character that I played, and this is probably the closest thing that she looked like. She would carry like a holy weapon, and she would cast holy magic and can be healing. They can also be like offensive attacks, and she also had like some AoE hits that she could do. But that was yeah, I liked it because you had a little bit of healing magic, you had a little magic, but a lot of your skill was a lot with your sword moves. So
yeah, did you have what is it? Something smite. God damn it, what is it?
Yeah, there was a like it was a hit that had like magic behind it where you could like
trying to think of.
A demon.
I think it's smite, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like
is it like the D&D term?
No, never mind.
Holy smite?
Yeah, it's something like that.
I don't know. I know.
So embarrassed.
Well, I feel your struggle because I'm trying to think of what it is, and I the words are not coming to us in this.
Okay,
in
let
this
me
room
just
today.
Google paladin smite attack so I can think of the fucking term I'm trying to think of.
Says Nightmare and Nerdscapes.
Divine Smite. Jesus Christ.
Divine.
Divine was the word I couldn't think of. Divine Smite.
We figured out.
Okay, Landon, what do you have for number 4?
Oh, my number 4 is the Pyromancer from Dark Souls 1.
Ooh.
So the Pyromancer was one of the first classes I played because it is the only class in Dark Souls 1 that starts at level 1. So I was just like starting the game blind going in. I was just like, well, I think I should play the class that starts, at the very beginning. That sounds good to me. And then I tried it out and I quickly learned how overpowered Pyromancy was. I try out Pyromancy, I kill everything in my path with it. And then I'm like, is it actually this good? Is this like a noob trap? Am I just falling into bad habits early on? And then I look online and everybody else is like, nope. Pyromancy is overpowered all the way through. It does not rely on any stat, only money. And if you keep upgrading it, you can pump into whatever other stats you want. You can change your build however you want, and Pyromancy will always be good. So that's why the Pyromancer became my number 1. Or not my number 1. My number 1 in Dark Souls. My number 4 on this list.
It's his ride or die in Dark Souls.
Does that lead into like the lore of Dark Souls? Because like, isn't in the Elden Ring there's like a ending where you like burn the world or whatever? Is that like why is it overpowered like canonically?
But Dark Souls and Elden Ring aren't really attached.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Elden Ring is kind of like. It's the Dark Tower of FromSoft. It's where all their different stories kind of leak into each other a little bit, but it's not really connected that much to anything in particular, if that makes sense.
There's homages to Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Bloodborne in Elden Ring, but they're not officially connected to each other at all. But yes, you do have campfires in Dark Souls and Demon Souls that you come to, right?
Bonfires, yes.
Yeah, bonfire, sorry. And fire is a tool for fighting the demons in the game. So yes, there's a canonical reason for why Pyromancer is so OP compared to everybody else.
Gotcha.
Yes. Although despite being linked to the gods and everything, it wasn't until, I want to say Dark Souls 2 or maybe until 3 where it got linked to faith as well as intelligence. It kind of scaled off of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that their attempt to like rein it in as a brokenness?
I think it's a mix of reining it in, but also it makes sense lore-wise as well.
Gotcha.
Randy, what do you have for number 4?
Mine is the Defector class from Slay the Spire.
I love the Defective.
Yes. The Defective, not Defector. I'm not good at video games. So whenever there's like a passive ability that like makes you good at a game, I'm always going to go with that. So he makes orbs and more orbs and more orbs. And each one of them like has a passive ability at the end of the round. And they're like damage, defense, more damage, more energy resources. But Slay the Spire is just a fantastic game.
It really is.
Slay the Spire 2 is, I don't know if there's a release date yet, but yeah, there's like 4 different classes in the first one, and I'm hoping for them to return and there to be more, because that's one thing that I do wish about Slay the Spire is there was more classes. Because I think they did 1 round of DLC, but I needed more.
Yeah, I haven't checked that game out yet, but I will have to put it on my list.
I'm a sucker for a card game, and that's a card game.
Same here.
Yes. Yeah. That's why Balatro got me so hard.
Oh, I just got Balatro last night. Just added to my PS5.
It's so good. I tried to get John Swayze to play it because he was playing like a game on his phone, like some sort of just game on his phone, and I was like, "Game you should get on your phone is Balatro." I don't think he did though.
Yeah.
But in chat we have Nightmare and Nerdscapes Pathfinder Gunslinger.
Oh yeah, the Gunslinger class is cool. They actually modified the Pathfinder Gunslinger to create Percy in the first Critical Role campaign.
In his pepper box.
Yes, in his pepper pots.
Yeah, I played like a quarter of a campaign of Pathfinder before we had to disband and live real lives. Unfortunately. But one of our characters was a gunslinger, and it seems really fun.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said about being the only person with a gun in a world where everybody else is using crossbows and regular arrows.
Then we got Eric Johnson saying Kinsei.
Jen, what's that?
I shall Google.
I was like, let me Google it. I don't know what that is.
Let's all Google together.
Ooh,
Eric's like, God damn it, guys.
Google.
Baldur's Gate wiki is what comes up.
A sword saint. It's a Japanese honorary title given to a warrior of legendary skill in swordsmanship.
That's like a samurai.
Yeah. I guess it must be like Kensei samurai.
Sword saint. Yeah.
Yes.
It says Masashi
Ooh, nice.
Miyamoto, one of my biggest idols, was a Kensei. So, yeah. That's a great. That's a great choice, Eric.
Oh, okay. That's where it
Oriental
comes from.
Adventures. That's offensive.
I was gonna say.
Cool. What else we got?
I believe that's
That
all we
is
have for
all
number
of
4.
chat. My number 4 goes right along with Eric's. My number 4 favorite fantasy class is the samurai. There's something really cool about the idea of your feudal Japan era warrior being dropped in the middle of a fantasy setting and having to fight alongside knights and wizards and warriors. The skill with the katana and the wakizashi, setting them apart from your average sword and board fighter is what makes samurai so cool as a class. Anytime you can throw a samurai into a place where they're not supposed to be makes for a really cool story.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys watched The Blue-Eyed Samurai?
Yes.
I made it, I think, 3 episodes in and then got distracted and need to watch it because
Blue-Eyed Samurai is great because
season 2 is
coming.
From what
so
I've seen.
Yeah.
Now would be the time to finish it because season 2 is not too far behind right now.
No.
Okay, Landon, what did you have for number 3?
My number 3 is the Artificer from Dungeons and Dragons.
Ooh.
I love the Artificer. I love seeing a random pile of junk and thinking to myself, what can I do with this? What can I, within reason, do with everything? How can I MacGyver my way out of this situation? And then I'll just see what I have at my disposal, think of the most ridiculous idea possible, look my DM in the eye and say, can I do that? Will you let me do this?
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories. One of my favorite stories with our Artificer is I had a chain in my inventory, nails, and we had cut the head off of a land shark. And one of our party members had the ability to revive dead. And I looked at all the items and I thought to myself, shark head meteor hammer. For those of you that don't quite understand, that don't know what that is, essentially I tied and nailed the chain to the shark head, had our party member, I forget who it was, it might have been a cleric, revived the shark head and was like, we're going to use this. We're going to use this as an amazing weapon. And we never used it because it was not good. The DM made sure to make it as terrible as possible because they had control of the stats.
Oh, God. My first D&D character I ever made was an Artificer. And so the conception of the Artificer is that it's basically D&D Tony Stark. It sprung out of the popularity of the first Iron Man movie that they wanted to add this class to D&D officially. And so whenever I read the class description, I thought, you know what would be cooler than that is if it was Batman. And so I made D&D Batman. He was an Artificer, and he had all of his cool bat gadgets and all the things that he had created to make himself, what functionally was Batman. And he died very quickly because I got really, really trashed one night and walked up on a white and just fucking swung on it at like level 5. And so he didn't last super long. But then I did a storyline where his 5 adopted children, the Rabuns, who were former thieves, fought for his mantle and then became the next version of that character.
My first D&D character was also, it was the Unearthed Arcana Alchemist, which is like a subclass. And the Unearthed Arcana version was very bad. He did not, he did not last long. His name was Mantis Toboggan. Or no, Ongo Gablogian.
I was going to say Mantis Toboggan is your Discord name.
Yeah, Ongo, which it's from It's Always Sunny, but so is Ongo Gablogian. And it was just an avatar of Danny DeVito. But it was, the Unearthed Arcana version was so bad. But the Meteor Hammer reminds me of this from American Dad. Just he has a rabid raccoon tied to a stick, and I don't even remember what they're gonna do with it, but that's what popped into my head whenever he had that.
Taking that sucker into a fight.
Yeah.
Jen, what did you have for number 3?
Number 3, I have a necromancer. So we used to play Guild Wars a lot, and one of my most favorite characters as part of their primary build would be a necromancer. Came in so handy when you would kill so many of your enemies, and then you're like, oh, hey, come fight for me.
Arise. I was going to say that.
So, but that actually was another reason why I chose it, is because of solo leveling. I love that they, portrayed the necromancy, and it's not necessarily evil in any light. I loved how he, if you guys watched it, I loved how he ended up talking Egris into joining him.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's so cool. So he's kind of he respects the souls that he uses to res and fight for him too. So he levels them as well. So I think that's really cool.
I'd say he throws a little disrespect on Iron, but
yes,
but Iron is Iron is kind of adorable though. So yeah, it's fine.
He was such a meathead before he died. So
yeah.
Solo leveling is so good. I can recommend that to literally anyone. It is so good. And if you're expecting it to tell the greatest story in anime history, you're going into it for the wrong reasons. But just as a pure fucking overpowered protagonist, maybe the antagonist, I don't know what the fuck's going on with the character.
Whenever I'm a little bit of a hater of solo leveling. I still watch it and love it, but I'm a little bit of a hater because I keep being okay, is he gonna be a villain? Because you're saying because I'm whenever he got necromancy, that was my first thought. I was like, oh, is he gonna be kind of the bad guy in the end?
So one of my favorite things about
but he does use it responsibly for
one of my favorite things about anime in general is that if you want to know what the hell's going to happen in a series, you just actually have to watch the opening. The opening as it changes per arc.
Yeah.
And they make a very strong case, and I haven't read ahead. I don't know where the manhwa goes eventually, but the opening credits of the show very clearly shows his old body still around somewhere doing something, and then his new body. And is it going to turn out that evil god that gave him all of those powers is actually who's in control now, and that the real person, the real Sun Wu, is somewhere trapped and a prisoner and isn't this entity that is doing all of this kick-ass fighting and damage, and that at some point the human side is going to fall away and the death god is going to take over? Maybe, because it certainly seems that there's some sort of something there. I haven't bothered to look it up. I know that the manhwa is quite a bit further along, but I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced that Sun Wu is actually the protagonist of the series, and we'll find out over time.
It feels like every time he has a chance to do the villainous thing, they sidestep it, and it's oh no, he's good,
He makes very morally gray choices.
Yeah,
quite
and
a bit.
It's always because I don't know if we're wanting to talk about season 2, basically the end of it, but he does a thing to someone, and who knows, he arises someone, and then it's just it happens within 10 seconds of him arising them, but then he's oh yeah, I'll set him free, and I'm oh,
Yes.
Since when did we know we could do that? Like, because it was like, I don't think that's what he would have wanted. And it's like, oh, well, okay, then in that case, I'll let him go. And I was like, if I think it would have been better if it was just like, oh no, I don't know if I can do this. And like, there's a chance that I can set him free, but like, maybe not. Maybe he's stuck with me forever.
I think we'll find out as we move along into season 3 and the subsequent stories beyond that. I'm not going to read the manga for this very specific reason. I don't want to ruin the show for myself.
The end of season 2, I was like, okay, it's opening up to like more stuff. So I'm like, okay, maybe, because I think I came into this show, like you said, like with the wrong expectations, because I did the same thing with My Neighbor Totoro. And I was like waiting for things to happen in Totoro, and nothing happened, and the movie ended, and I was like, oh, okay. And I think I'm kind of the same way with Solo Leveling, so I just got to change my mindset.
Yeah, my big thing
it's fun, it's a spectacle, it's wonderful, but I keep like, I think, wanting more out of it.
My big thing with Solo Leveling is if you want an anime that's going to tell a story that's going to touch you emotionally and make you feel things and change your perspective on, you know, the anime genre, if you were a hater, or if you're just kind of like, oh, it's all about like fan service, and that anime is Frieren Beyond Journey's End.
Yeah.
You just want to see an overpowered protagonist beat the shit out of people. That's Solo Leveling.
Irresponsible necromancy in that one.
Yeah. That's Solo Leveling. And if you go into Solo Leveling being like, man, this isn't as good as Frieren, no shit. No shit.
Well, like in the Crunchyroll rewards, they were like going up, they were like, everybody was like putting them two next to each other, and I was like, they are not the same. They're not like comparable because they do totally different things. But I'm a Frieren girly.
That's why they're both amazing, because you can like them for two totally different reasons.
Absolutely, completely agree with that. Whose number were we on?
That was Jen's. Sorry.
Okay.
Hijack necromancer.
Randy, what's your number 3?
Mine is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Just the bending in general. I think chi bending is probably one of my favorites, just as like something that do they call it chi blocking? So I guess it's not really even bending, but it's a class. Chi benders are a thing in Korra. Love it. It's a fun way to make like non-benders viable, like as villains and such. So yeah, just the magic system of Avatar is so good.
Yeah, May is a chi blocker in the original series.
Yeah, she's like the OG.
Speaking of Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, the voice of Korra, Janet Varney is going to be here in November for Cape Con, our 20th anniversary show. Also coincides with the 20th anniversary of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and so we are very excited to welcome her to our show. And we will also be welcoming some of the DFPN family to our show this year as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. Let's see. What do we have in chat, Randy?
We have Eric Johnson. Brawlers. Monk, no weapon or armor restriction, specialize with knuckle dusters, guard arms, and shields.
Yeah, I love characters that can get down and dirty, and Brawlers are one of those where it's like, they're not necessarily the tank, but they're the like, we're about to fuck this guy up character. Like, hell yeah. Like
any show where they have like the villain beat and they just like gather around and kick the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Like the end of, I think it's season 2 of The Boys, where they're all just like beating up on Stormfront. And that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Is just like 3 superheroes just kicking, no powers, just kicking.
Yeah, if you know anything from my love of the Wolverine character in Marvel Rivals, I am down for a DPS character any day, and that certainly falls into that category.
Knuckle dusters as a weapon just needs to be more frequently used in fantasy in general.
I need to get the Shadow of the Erd Tree update because they added a weaponless like melee brawler into that, and he's pretty fucking broken from what I understand. My number 3 is the assassin class. Now this stems from my love of games like Assassin's Creed, but also just I love a stealthy boy. I love ninjas, which are assassins. I love any hide from the shadows, take people out quietly. Hitman was Hitman 2, one of my favorite video games of all time. Also Metal Gear Solid, all of that franchise for its stealth action. Those characters are great, and I love playing them.
How do you feel about the assassin with like a huge personality, like Naruto and and Black Star from
or like Scud the Disposable Assassin from the comics? Scud the Disposable Assassin. I feel great about them. I love a mouthy motherfucker. Deadpool is one of my favorite characters of all time. He's also a mouthy, bigger than life personality assassin.
I love the gotta be quiet, but also can't keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. It can go either way. They're both great. Unless you make Deadpool a silent assassin, then you've done it all wrong.
I mean, technically, as long as you get the kill, who cares if you're an assassin? Who cares if you're mouthy or not?
Right. I can hang with that. Yeah. Landon, what did you have for number 2?
Did we bring up CJ Lovelady's number 3 in the chat?
I don't think so. I'll bring it up. EverQuest 2 Templars.
Oh yeah, Templars are fun. They're basically paladins, right? They kind of fall in that same.
I think so.
I never played EverQuest, but Templar feels paladin-esque.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know that their powers are necessarily religion based, but they kind of fall in that same category, I think. What if you give him blades like Baraka? Oh, they're clerics in heavy armor, is what Chris says.
Yeah, what if you give the silent assassin Deadpool?
No, if you give Deadpool blades like Baraka, it's a terrible fucking idea.
It'd be terrible.
He very clearly bends his arm prior to putting out an almost 3-foot long blade between his fingers. That doesn't make sense.
Well, that would be really cool for an action figure if you could push a button on an action figure and his arms just go.
Right. If you have a full katana blade hidden in the length of your arm, when you bend your elbow, that blade's going to stick out somewhere.
Maybe he teleports.
That doesn't work.
Maybe he teleports them in and out because he has teleportation abilities too.
Shut up, Randy.
And laser eyes. The Wolverine Origins is a flawless film.
No, it isn't. And it cannot be explained away. It's terrible. It was dumb. There were really dumb choices made in that movie. Really, really dumb choices. Mostly around Deadpool, but around a lot of characters.
Name
the Taylor
one
Kitsch Gambit is garbage
CGI
too.
claws.
Bad CGI. So claws. Many other things. Just so many other bad things. Beginning to end, that movie is just
that was one of the first movies where I was like, "Oh, movies can be bad."
Well, like they make Sabretooth and Wolverine brothers. That's not a thing that's ever happened in the comics. Like,
I've heard people say where like the opening scenes, like where it shows them like throughout the decades, is like really fun, and like I'm like that is really fun. But then it's just like, oh well, we ran out of money, I guess. And then Gambit runs up a wall. First live action Gambit.
Right. He barely uses his abilities. Yeah, it's just stuff like that.
He uses abilities not how they work.
Right. It's almost as bad as them killing Darwin off like almost immediately in First Class. In a way that he would be able to survive as Darwin. The one mutant who you cannot kill and is literally named Darwin because his ability is to adapt. They murder him he's the first one they kill. Cool. Great. Jen, what was your number 2?
Sorry, my number 2 is a lot like your number 3. I have this rogue kind of character that I have played through probably 2 whole campaigns, and then we had a couple that we didn't quite finish. So her special ability is that she actually isn't human. She's actually
me neither.
Her parents are from the shadow realm, so whenever she moves about, she moves from shadow to shadow. So it's very easy for her to, take the enemies out or, basically assassinate people. So this is probably like the best depiction I could really find on short notice. But yeah, she's a badass.
Yeah, I love a good rogue character.
Yeah,
for sure.
A shadow walker is always fun.
Yeah, and that used to be a pretty broad term for characters. Your thief was a rogue, your assassin was a rogue, and they've really distilled it down to kind of just like a shadowy, mostly short blade and ranged weapon using character that doesn't fall into the thief class or the assassin class.
And parents have to be dead usually.
Oh yeah, with dead parents,
which are just tragic backstory in general.
Yeah,
which
Landon,
they're the perfect class.
What did you have as your number 2?
My number 2 was the chef from Miitopia. So Miitopia, shockingly difficult game. I got into it thinking it would just be a fun little romp, but no, it actually picks up in difficulty. I was surprised by that. But the chef class, it's a lot of fun. Imagine a tank that can heal and also has decent damage. That's the chef class right there.
Okay.
Can heal party members, has pretty, I forget if it was the chef or the cleric that has pretty decent AoE, but they both have pretty good healing abilities. The chef can also buff allies and do a lot of damage with its pan. Like,
So
chef class, a lot of fun. Yes,
Yeah.
questions.
Does he boost his fellow teammates by like throwing French fries at them or something? Like give them like a little
Cooks food.
food boost.
Cooks food right there in the middle of the fight. It's turn-based, so you can take as long as you need for your turn. It's full real-time cooking of a rotisserie chicken right there in front of everyone. And then the party dines. All part of the same turn.
The villains are just doing their idle animation, bobs back and forth while you're like rotating a chicken.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Nightmares and Nerdscape said, "I'm getting Imagine Dragon vibes from this pick."
I love that it's a chef. That's the best. My face
From my shit. Damn.
I mean, if this doesn't beat the Imagine Dragons allegations, but I want to play Miitopia now.
I know I'm gonna play this chef. It sounds amazing.
Can you play all? Can we all play Miitopia and all be chefs?
Speaking of Imagine Dragons vibes, Randy, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is the class system from Marvel Ultimate Alliance, or not Avengers Alliance. I'm sorry. It was a game, and then it became a Facebook game, and then it got shut down, and I cried. Spent so much money on it, but it's like, so there's a generalist, which is like the center thing, and then there's just like a wheel of like the scrapper, which is the fist, does extra damage and like gets special abilities from the infiltrators. So like Iron Fist would be good against Black Widow, and Black Widow would be good against Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange would be good against Cyclops, and Cyclops would be good. No, Cyclops was a tactician, I think. But just like there's Blaster, Bruiser, Scrapper, Infiltrator, Tactician, and they all just have like a wheel of who's good against who and who can resist who. It was just such a great game. And it was such a vast character selection, and like each of them had different costumes that like actually had effects. Like you could be the Future Foundation Fantastic Four, and it would change their classes in like really fun ways. Like you could turn like, I think like not Ms. Marvel, Invisible Woman from like a infiltrator to a bruiser, because like she just attacks, can attack instead of, or I don't know, just changes their classes up. It was just a very fun game that I cried whenever it was deleted, and they need to bring it back so bad. I spend so much money on it again.
Okay. Well, Randy, while you're recovering from that, what do we have in chat?
Final Fantasy VI Mechanic.
Yeah.
They're coming out with a Final Fantasy set in Magic the Gathering, so I'm learning about Final Fantasy so I can understand the cards.
Interesting. I didn't know you were an MTG player.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we got Eric Johnson, Lancer from Final Fantasy Tactics. A lot of number 2, a little Final Fantasy making an appearance in number 2s.
Yeah, right down there in the number 2s, we got a couple of Final Fantasy choices. I've only played Final Fantasy 7 and 10, and I don't know any of these characters.
Mm-hmm. Same. I bought Final Fantasy, I think 15 for the PlayStation 3. Went home, played it for about 30 minutes, got through 30 minutes of cutscenes, and then had to go to work. So never really played it after that. Seemed fun, but just didn't have time.
I own 1 through 6 on Steam because there's a huge bundle on it. I played a bit of 6. Haven't gotten far enough in it to for sure say anything about the mechanic class, though. It sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like it fit in with the mechs and stuff that are going on in game.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmares and Nerdscape said 6, 8, and 10 are my favorites. I know that what's his name? Leon. Was it Leon Hart or whatever? That shows up in Kingdom Hearts is from 6. It's kind of the only thing I know.
I also haven't played Kingdom Hearts,
Strife?
which
No,
I need to do
that's
as
Cloud's
well.
name. Cloud Strife. What?
I haven't played Kingdom Hearts. I need to.
I've played all the Kingdom Hearts games. That's the most Square Enix game franchise I've spent the most time on.
Could Donald Duck solo the entire? Is he the strongest mage? That's a meme because
Donald Duck isn't even the strongest mage in Kingdom Hearts.
Well, there's supposed to be something where he casts a spell that's like stronger than. Because I don't remember what the spells are, but he casts like a Zeta spell, and I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's
There's
all over
some
the
joke
place
about it.
for sure. The powers in Kingdom Hearts are kind of wild. What the abilities they can and cannot do on and off, depending on whether you're in the cutscene or the actual gameplay, because they do wild, fucking huge, crazy, grandiose things in the cutscenes, and then when you're playing the game, you blast some little attacks out of the end of your keyblade. But I do love the Kingdom Hearts games, and for all the hate that it's getting for the time between 3 and 4, I'm really looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 4. That being said, Landon. Oh, I got to give my number 2. My number 2, is a fun little class that who doesn't love casting magic missile at the darkness or at anything else you decide to aim for, and that is the wizard. The wizard, not the best D&D class, not even the best spell casting D&D class, but you got to throw a wizard in there every once in a while just for funsies. A good wizard is about half as good as a half decent sorcerer on a D&D campaign, but sometimes the difficulty is half the fun of playing the character.
Yeah.
I think I've only ever played a wizard during like a one shot.
I love a wizard. Who doesn't love a wizard?
I just got to burn through my spells doing all the stuff.
They're just completely, their hands are completely tied with the ability to memorize X number of spells and only have so many spells they can use because their wizarding ability is entirely based on what they can and cannot learn, whereas sorcerers are born with innate power and can passively use abilities that wizards take forever to get around to. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. Landon, are you ready? Oh, we got more number 2s in the chat.
We got a late number 2. Death Knight, Eric Johnson.
Yeah,
Death Knight is Eric's number 1 because he has his number 2 up there.
Excuse me. Yeah, he's got Lancer for number 2.
Oh, never mind.
So anyway, Landon, are you ready to give me your number 1? Landon, your number 1, please.
Danny, your audio actually started cutting out a little bit partway through the number 1.
Great.
My number 1, it's the Necromancer. Specifically, my first experience with it, the Necromancer from Diablo 2.
Oh, nice.
Was raising skeletons and a golem to follow you and fight through all your enemies the best way to play the game back in 2005 when I played it as a wee lad? No, not at all. Unanimously online, and when I looked back, it was always like, yeah, Necromancer is like one of the worst classes out there. It's terrible. It's just not, it doesn't have very many options, and it just doesn't really work. Did that matter to me? No. I still like raising a bunch of minions to do my fighting for me while I sit back and play the role of the BBEG that actually has armies at his command. And that has stuck with me to this day. I still try to play summoner classes in whatever game I play. Skyrim, some of the Fire Emblem games, you can try that. And it's never that good because it's super hard to balance. But I still like to play that way because I just find it fun.
Because like the proper way to like play a necromancer like in Diablo 2 is summon a bunch of stuff and let the game play itself. Like let let them fight their things, and some of them every once in a while. But yeah, in a lot of games now they're being like, oh well, like now it's just micromanaging summons and stuff. But yeah, I love that like brought back a memory of Diablo 2 for me because I did play a lot of that.
Yeah.
Jen, what did you have for your number one?
I have a mage. I have played a mage in probably the last 2 or 3 campaigns that we've ran, and I just love playing mages. I've played like the latest one was like a vampire mage where she had a lot of like death magic and everything, and I've also played like it's not quite like a cleric, but it was like a holy mage, but she also had like elemental magic and everything. But I love mages because I usually just step in there and I do like a big AoE like damage attack, and then I'm like, all right, the rest is your boys, and I just drop my mic and walk away.
Yeah, I mean, you can never overvalue the ability of a good AoE character, especially whenever you're first setting into a combat, because it's like you're fighting 15 people. Well, how about I wipe out 8 of them?
Yeah, I got your back. Watch this.
Or you're fighting 15 people. How about I bring them down to 1 hit each?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Randy, what did you have for your number one?
My number one is from the Fate series, which I know very little about beyond the Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night.
I've actually just finished watching Fate Stay Night, and I'm working at Fate Stay Night and Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, and I'm working on Fate Stay Night Heaven right now.
I've seen those, but like Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night are like the end of it. I'm like, I don't know the rest of the timeline. I don't need to. I got what I wanted. I love it.
I actually preferred Fate Stay Night over Fate Stay Unlimited Blade Works.
Really?
Because I love the story between Shiro and Sable. Or not Sable, Saber.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get that in Unlimited Blade Works.
Wait. Maybe it is Stay Night.
So the original Saber and Shiro fall in love.
Oh, nope.
And then in Unlimited Blade Works, and I can't remember her name right now, but the girl with the black hair, Reen
Tosaka?
is the love. So each one of those arcs is based on the game's arc, the game story based on which one you choose to fall in love with. So if you choose to fall in love with Saber, you get the Stay Night storyline. If you choose to fall in love with Reen, you get the Unlimited Blade Works. And if you choose to fall in love with Sakura, you get the Heaven storyline.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense to me. But I loved Fate Zero because I think people say you're supposed to watch like Fate Stay Night or Heaven's Feel or whatever like first, but I watched Fate Zero because it's a prequel.
Yes.
So I watched that one first, and then Unlimited Blade Works. The animation is gorgeous. I like Archer from them because like in both
Archer's
series,
awesome.
Archer is the cool like. I mean, and then like Gilgamesh is Archer in the first one, and then he's back in the second one, but as like a different thing because he like doesn't go away. And so he sticks around, and they're just the coolest thing ever. Their noble phantasms are both like bananas.
Yes.
Because like you're supposed to have like one thing as your noble phantasm, but Gilgamesh being like this ancient king has a treasure room that he summons from. So it's like infinite weapons. So he's like the big bad almost. And just Matt Mercer is what's his name?
He's the priest in Unlimited Blade Works. He voices the priest.
Oh, in Unlimited Blade Works, he's Shiro's father. What is his name? Something Emiya.
Yep.
But yeah, he is so good in Zero.
And then in Stay Night, it is Sam Riegel, the voice of Shiro, and what's his name that played the other one. One of the other critical role guys voices Archer.
Oh, okay.
In that,
I've never seen like that one because that's the original like version of it, and then like the animation is like upgraded in Unlimited Blade Works because it just came like years later. But it's they're both so good, and the class system in that's fun because there's like 7 classes, and then as it moves on to other things, there's more than just 7 classes.
So all of the summonings in Fate Stay or in Fate Stay Night, any of them, any of the series are legendary heroes from throughout time and space. And they don't want to reveal who they actually are by their real names, so they go by their classes. So you have what is it? Berserker, Saber, Archer, Mage,
Caster,
Assassin. Yeah, Caster. That's what it was. Caster and
sorry, I got them wrote down. A Saber, Lancer, Archer. I don't know which one we missed. Caster, Berserker, Rider. I think is the one we missed.
Rider we're missing another one because
Assassin,
the samurai at the gate.
He's Assassin. He's a weird one. Yeah.
Okay.
He's Assassin though.
Anyway, sorry guys that you're along for this ride.
We went on a very nerd tangent that I love to
Randy
talk about.
And I are nerding out over here. But anyway, so that's Randy's number one. What do we have in chat?
We have I think this is supposed to be their number one. Death Knight.
Yes, Eric Johnson's number one-ish, I believe, possibly, is Death Knight, and the Death Knight is a monster class in D&D. But that's somebody you do not want to fuck with. They're like a level 10 above monster that you do not you don't want to fight them until you've reached level 10 because they will fuck you up so hard.
Yeah.
So
But they sound like pushovers.
Yeah, no, they sound great.
Death Knights in Warcraft. I don't know about World of Warcraft. Also, massive tanks in that game, capable of not only taking damage but also healing allies. Very much, they're the undead's version of the paladin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got?
We have Nightmare Nerdscape says Wild Mage.
Yep, love a Wild Mage.
Wild magic in general. Almost on my list was Owl House. I love Owl House, but Ida is a wild magic, that's her thing because she never picked a class. But just wild magic in general is always a fun choice.
Yeah, and then Eric Johnson said Holy Knight or Paladin as well, which I'll take that as an honorable mention. My number one, everybody's favorite original D&D class, stemming from his popularity in Lord of the Rings, it is a Ranger. Pictured here, you have Aragorn, son of Arathorn, the king himself. Just a Ranger from the north, but Ranger classes have been the go-to combat class for a lot of fantasy literature for a long time. Dristo Erden is a Ranger. Some of the best D&D characters that you are or not familiar with are typically Ranger characters, even in the Dragonlance novels, which I know Eric Johnson is a fan of. Canis Half-Elven is a Ranger as well. They skirt that line of a knight without wearing heavy armor, but they use magic. They're a little bit of a wizard. They're a little bit of a warrior. Usually they carry a longbow. Rangers are they're like the jack of all trades of the fantasy character class. I would say
Drizzt is, I don't know if that's how you say his name. I've never said it out loud. Is he a Ranger as well?
Yeah, he's a Ranger.
Okay,
he's a Drow Ranger.
I was saying because I remember he has a cat companion, right? Or a big panther.
It's a panther that he has with him, and then he dual wields scimitars.
For his much hate that I've heard Rangers get in D&D because they're mechanically not the best. They need buffs here and there. A lot of their skills are exploration more so than combat, but they're very popular in not social media, in pop culture, it seems like.
Yeah. And I mean, our first introduction to a Ranger is all the way back with Aragorn in the original Lord of the Rings series, and in a world where we get elves,
Robin Hood,
we get elves and dwarves, elf warriors, dwarf warriors, halflings, all of that. And then Boromir is more like a barbarian class, or a paladin. Not really a paladin. He's more like a knight or a barbarian class. And then you have Aragorn, the hero of the story, as a Ranger. And it kind of set the tone for what Rangers would be moving forward in fantasy. Let's see. We've already done this one. I just forgot to mark it off. Next week on the hit list, we're going to do a music one again. We're going to do our 5 favorite one-hit wonders.
Imagine Dragons.
But anyway, for this week, this has been the hit list. Welcome back to the show. That does it for us. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for getting your hit list in. Thank you for being part of the conversation. We love and appreciate each and every one of you. Landon, Jen, and Randy, in turn, say bye to the folks.
Bye.
See y'all.
Cool. I was expecting your normal outros, but anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks for coming.
I'm not normal.
Yes. As always, thank you all for coming in, joining us in the chat. You all are what actually make this a show, because without you all, we're just talking to the walls.
True. I'm with Landon. Thanks for showing up. It's always fun to interact with everybody in the chat.
Yes, and I like being bullied about my love for Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, you deserve to be bullied for your love for Imagine Dragons. Anyway, you guys have been great, and we've been Cutting Edge Hero.
See y'all.
Bye.